What's up guys, this is Coach Donny with ElevateYourself.org. Welcome to my volleyball coach reaction to Haikyuu Season 1, Episode 22. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer that provides volleyball tutorials, jump training videos, and other cool volleyball content. Make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more content. I'm glad that many of you share my disdain for people who spoil things, and I appreciate your support. Thanks for explaining the scene with the handwritten animation between Suga and Kageyama. I was confused because it seemed like someone was handing a handwritten note to another person, but I'm guessing the scene was just for emphasis. Even a seasoned veteran like Tsuga has to remind himself of how the success of the team is accomplished through having a team mentality and not an individualistic one. I also have to remind myself of that sometimes when I'm tempted to try to win the game myself, so this scene is very relatable to me. I think I tend to refer to Oikawa by his formal name when analyzing him because I'm using the analytical side of my brain, but I refer to him as K-pop when I'm just watching and reacting to the anime because I'm using the emotional side of my brain, so you can probably guess how I feel about him. I will continue to generally refer to him as K-pop until he either gets a haircut or shows a significant improvement in maturity. I definitely didn't catch why Suga got emotional after hearing the words "next time." It's always humbling for me as a coach to remember how any word from a coach can have a big impact on a player, even when you're just speaking casually and don't intend to make a big impact. This is what makes coaching so challenging because you have to be aware of everything you say and do because you are always making a positive or negative impact based on how you conduct yourself, whether you want to or not. It's mind-blowing that the author is also the illustrator. What incredible skill. No wonder the story is so seamlessly complex because the author has creative control over all significant parts. This comment just made me crack up. I wish it were true. That would make the author's master plan for Haikyu even more genius. He would be the author, illustrator, and reactor to his own creation, and he built up his YouTube channel solely for that purpose. How would you react if you found out I was the author of Haikyuu? Let me know in the comments. If you've been enjoying my videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon, where you receive exclusive access to monthly live Q&A sessions, podcasts, my private blog, behind the scenes footage, and more. The first 200 members to sign up will automatically be entered to win a free Elevate Athletic Tee 2.0, so make sure you sign up today with the link below. Also, make sure that you watch all the way to the end of every video where I include different outros for each video just for you guys. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. Ooh, opening up right from where they left off into the substitution. And I love it. Kageyama is jogging to his spot on the court, ready to go. Oh, those are some Akuma flames behind him. That's such an awkward smile. He's trying to uplift his team just like Suga did. I don't think that's a scheming face. There you go. Now Kageyama is a little more like himself. Ah, that was hilarious. Oh, fist pump? Wow, even a congratulate. Oh, okay. I guess no fist pump. I thought he was gonna actually make some positive gestures. Go, 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 Seijo. I don't know if I did that correctly. That's good. Some conversation happening on the bench. That's for the first time he's actually making some neutral commentary from Suki, not just trying to get under his skin. Yeah, that's right. Regardless of how talented you are, it doesn't change your competitive drive. I love this focus. That's what I love to do before I serve. Take a deep breath. Exhale the anxiety. Ooh, now K-pop is serious. Probably because he knows Kageyama's back to play. That's a lot of steps. That's like a 5-step. We gotta count that. Because maybe Kageyama changed his serve to try to get more points and become more powerful. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that was 5. 5-step approach. That's a lot. Ooh. That was a hard serve. Service ace. Oh, he aced on the libero. Impressive. Oh, Tanaka's even awkward too. I love it. Oh man, he looked like a ghost. Yay! Oh man, I haven't laughed this much in any episode yet. Oh, there's the other bald-headed guy. Okay, chance Bauru. Ooh, what Kageyama? He should set Hinata to establish that quick set to say, "I'm here." Oh, there we go. Uh-huh. Oh, probably because they're operating off of the hand signals now. Now they won't know when they're gonna set Hinata. Let's see what Kageyama's awkward compliment will sound like. Are you my boss? Ooh, Suga's so proud, just like a mom, like you guys said. He's the mom on the team. I didn't understand that animation of Kageyama being a flyer fly. Kageyama's gonna get another 5-step service approach. That's right. Focus, K-pop. Back in business. Yep, I think everyone knew that was Kageyama's limitation, was his selfishness and individual mentality. Ooh, hand signals and no talking. Yeah, I love it. Suga's encouraging on the sideline. Yeah, keep using Hinata until they stop him. Oh, that's what we call a fade. Or a push. Oh. So this play is what we call a fade or a push one, and I'm sure it has different names depending on the country that you're playing in. So the middle goes in for a regular A-quick or a front one, which is only about maybe half a meter to a meter away from the setter, and then jumps laterally. So the whole goal is you want the blockers to commit to your approach, and then you change direction at the last second. So while the blockers are jumping up with you, you're jumping sideways. Now you either need to have a really good vertical jump, which Hinata does, or you need to be tall, or the best combination, be tall and have a good vertical jump. The only middle I can think of who can consistently do this is Robert Landy Simone, who's a Cuban volleyball player who plays professionally in Italy. And he is tall and has a good vertical, and he has an awesome setter who I think he's playing with Decheco this year, who is an Argentinian setter that I referred to in a previous video. It requires a lot of precision, but if you can get it down, it's unstoppable because it's almost impossible to read. It's rare that you'll see it at the high school level, but I'm sure with some really good Japanese high school teams who are very disciplined and very skilled, I'm sure they can pull it off. Oh, there we go. There's that glorious connection. Good rotation on that ball. Ah, are they ahead? Oh, they're ahead by 1 point. Oh man, I gotta watch that again. Oh, these encouraging sequences are so great. I love it. It is awkward for someone who doesn't really engage socially this way. Ooh, now Tsuki's up. Tsuki, I think, has been pretty effective in this game. He's a smart middle. Alright. Are they going to run Tsuki? Ooh, no, they're going to set the ace to finish the game. That's a great swing, high off the block. Here's a great move by Asahi. He sees that he has a double block right in front of him, so that means the blockers were able to get there early enough to position and jump full. So instead of trying to beat them and going sharp around them, which would risk getting blocked, because the lower you swing, the cooler it looks, but the higher chance you have of getting blocked because you're swinging lower into the block. So here, Asahi does a great job of hitting high off into the hands, which is what we always try to encourage when you see more than one blocker, so it ricochets off in different directions. The most solid part of the block is your forearms, and the softest part of the block is your hands, obviously. So smart move by Mr. Man Bun. I love it. Kageyama's asking, how can I set you better versus you should hit my set. Who's this drink of water? Is it? Doesn't get, oh, that's right. When they first met, they didn't get along very well. But we'll see if that translates onto the court, because at least for boys, they can hate each other, but then they can actually work together well on the court. Sometimes. Very observant K-pop. Yeah, don't play games and don't assume people know how you're feeling. It's important to be honest with how you're feeling so people don't misread you. Good pass, Daichi. Uh-oh. Oh, he read it. So they had a good connection. Okay, so he's holding back a little bit. Oh. There's his fan club. Alright, let's see. Let's see how they can figure out the Tsuki Kageyama connection. That's two people that don't communicate very well. Wish I could do that in the US. Grab a kid's face and say, wake up. Uh-oh, it's two people that are very passive aggressive. Finally got some honest communication that's functional. Kageyama probably says them too fast. Ah, okay. That's a smart setter, but you don't want to force your hitters into those situations. Yeah, like I said, Tsuki is actually a pretty smart middle. He wants space and the ability to work around the block and place his hits a little bit more. So it doesn't have to always rely on the setter. Ooh. Kageyama is putting the team first. Man, he's maturing very quickly. Natsuki doesn't know what to do. He looks... That's like the most positive I've seen his facial expression. Just in case you didn't realize the difference between the type of sets that Tsuki's talking about, where he's saying you're shooting me and you're forcing me to hit a certain direction. And sometimes setters will try to lead their hitters in a specific direction because they think that's the right strategy. But Tsuki is asking, can you just set it straight up and down, let it hang in the air so I can decide where to hit, and just trust my hitting ability. And what's interesting is that's just another extension of Kageyama trying to control the game by forcing his hitters to hit a certain height, location, and speed. Part of Kageyama's maturity is not just being more positive and affirming on the court, but also communicating more, and most importantly, learning to let go of control by trusting his players more to make the right decisions. This is a big change for Kageyama, and I'm sure Tsuki's going to play much better now that Kageyama's going to give him a type of set that gives him more of the decision making. There's the approval from Suga. There's the approval from Suga, the approving motherly face. Those are some real ball sounds. He asked politely, so I'd like you to keep it consistent. Oh yeah. There's always a hole right behind the middle blockers. Good job, Tsuki. And now Kageyama. Let's see what Kageyama's reaction is. How annoying. That's it. They went from straight to smirk. That's probably what happened. Oh, he's gonna get him again. Oh, alright. Got to overpass. That's another chance for a free ball attack. And then Tsuki is probably going to hit it hard again because now they're going to try to cheat up and think he's going to tip and he's going to hit hard. Yeah, I love it when Asahi cheers. But Seijo's still coming back with some more heat. Yeah, this is super close. Oh no, is he gonna dig it? Yeah, you can only do something so many times before they start to read you. Oh, did he dig it? Okay. Who are they gonna set? They should set Tsuki again and just give him another. Oh no, set the ace, Asahi. Or dump. Too many things to consider. Oh. Hey, that's right, that's what happened. They thought he was gonna tip again because he's been tipping so much and then he changed it up. Yeah. He has a long-term game plan. Maybe that's why Tsuki's got the glasses. No. Nice. This is another level of Kageyama. And now Tanaka's calling him out. But I don't think he's gonna grab Tanaka's head because then he get beat up. Alright. Let's see who they set for game point. They should set Asahi. He's the guy that's going to close the game. He's the one that's going to help finish. Ooh, but they got K-pop on the service line. We'll see what his serving strategy is to try to close out a game, because he apparently is successful at closing out games with just his serve. Maybe short. Short to get Asahi out, so he can't hit, and they're going to force to set the middle, and they're going to make it predictable and then block him. Always funny when someone gets hit in the face in volleyball. Rare smile with no ulterior motive. I'm not the only one who thinks K-pop is a little shady. I like that every character has their own backstory. And a player that smiles a lot, that's actually a very good quality to have, so I do like that about K-pop. But the motive behind that smile, we'll see. Yeah, it's intimidating. Oh, that's tough. That's right, they went to the same school, so he's the first year in middle school while K-pop is the third year. I wonder if Kageyama was a hitter at this time. That's right, even K-pop recognized his talent for Kageyama. Yeah, that's a new challenge when you're competing against your teammate. Another martial arts kick into the back. That's a good leader, forcing him to do what's good for him, except kicking him in the back. Oh, getting subbed in, and Kageyama looks so innocent. Yeah, it's tough to get subbed in for someone who's 2 to 3 years younger than you. Is that Vegeta? Before his hair's grown? Oh. Is this his mentor? Oh, he doesn't like him because he took his spot. Oh. Good thing the leader was there. He just seems like a brat. But I can definitely relate to how competitive drive can really drive you crazy. Oh, dang. Headbutt in the nose. Man, this guy really puts him in his place. So he's similar to Kageyama, where sometimes they think too much of themselves or try to win it by themselves. That's right. The better team wins, not the team with better players. Getting headbutted makes him feel invincible. I love these backstories. Yeah, good pep talk from his teammates. Typical douchebag. Here's a random thought. If K-pop was nicer to Kageyama, would Kageyama turn out differently and as isolated? Because maybe he's just emulating behavior of who he looks up to. So he looked up to the best setter on the team at that time, who's older than him, and he saw that he was more individualistic, all about himself, and wasn't very relatable to his teammates. Maybe Kageyama picked that up from K-pop. I forgot which school K-pop is. Is he trying to beat Shiratorizawa, or is he playing for Shiratorizawa? And too many names and too many schools to keep track of, not just high schools but middle schools as well. Okay, so I'm assuming he is not Shiratorizawa's team. What's he gonna say to Kageyama and create more trauma? Of course he is. Now you guys know I don't like K-pop. He's just a brat. Only thinks of himself. And you wonder why Kageyama turned out the way he was. Or he is. Alright, what's Kageyama gonna do? This is personal for K-pop. Oh, aiming for that. Come on, Nishinoya. Oh man, he cut it off. That's the best spot to serve. Uh-oh. Chance Balder. Are they gonna go forward and then fake back set? I remember they're... Uh-oh. Is Kageyama gonna try to control him again? Oh! They read it, but can they... Ooh! What a block. What a block by Tsuki. They won. There's a lot that went on in this scene that I want to talk about. When you have a perfect pass, that means the setter doesn't move and your setter is good, meaning your setter has an upright posture and is not leaning one way or the other. It's really hard to know what to do in those situations. So in that moment, you have to base your information on previous plays, on what the setter likes to do under pressure, or who the hot hitter is. So I'm assuming they go to their main hitter who's on the left side. In this moment, I got a little nervous because I know that the relationship between Tsuki and Kageyama is already pretty fragile. So I thought this was going to be a moment of Kageyama trying to control Tsuki again, just like he was with the setting. But I think what's happening here is that Kageyama has probably studied K-pop so much, watched video, and played on the same team with him that he knows his tendencies and he knows what he's going to do. So he grabs Tsuki and say, hey, we got to block this guy because I know exactly who he's going to set. Middle blockers block so much and they see so much of the game through the perspective of reading setters. I've actually had middles start pushing me this way even before I know what's going on because they know that they're going to set behind them. So this actually does happen during games sometimes. So this is great blocking technique by Kageyama and Tsuki. You see how they're jumping straight up, they're only a few inches apart from each other, and their arms are straight over. They're shrugging their shoulders to get as high and as far over as possible. Most common mistake that blockers make is that they think by reaching higher they're going to get a bigger block, but all you do is leave more space between your body and the net, and it's really easy to get tooled on the side. So you want to bring the block closer to the attacker and don't reach side to side too much, because that's going to be another target to tool off the block. And the inside hand, which is the left hand of Tsuki, is so critical. You don't want to let hitters beat you low into the angle. You want them to swing high over you, which is an easier ball to dig. So he just presses over with his left arm and really clamps it down by pressing his left down all the way forward. This is a great block by both Kageyama and Tsuki. Dude, and that background white lighting makes it more intense. Is it a rule in Japan for referees to ref with their eyes closed? Is this the headbutt guy? It must be. But I'm sure K-pop has a longer game plan since he is a smart player. Love the celebration. Comprehensive decisions compared to reactive decisions. Kind of curious where he's going with this. But one thing I like about K-pop is he's always thinking about how to get an edge. But he's inspired by Kageyama, because Kageyama forces him to be better. Here are my immediate thoughts to episode 22. I had a full range of emotion in this episode. It started off with tons of laughing because Kageyama was just being so awkward with trying to change. But that's one thing we can learn from change. Not all change is progress, but you cannot make progress without change. Oftentimes when you're trying a new technique, you're going to get worse because your body's not used to it. But the whole point of trying the new technique is because you're trying to get better in the long run. So I always tell my players, you got to take one step back so you can take 2 steps forward. Because the more you practice the new technique, you'll get used to it and then you'll increase your skill a little bit more. That goes with anything in life. And you see how Kageyama is trying to change his attitude and his communication ability. So in the beginning, it's really awkward and not as successful as other communicators like Tsuga and Nishinoya, because he's simply not used to that. But the more he practices it, the better he's going to get at communicating and encouraging his teammates. And then he's going to be able to make his team that much better with the new communication skill. I know I pick on Oikawa a lot, but I do appreciate that they have a variety of characters in this anime, and not everyone is a perfect player in terms of personality like Daichi, who I think is a great example of a leader, but people like Daichi are very, very rare. In fact, you'll see more leaders like Oikawa who are a little bit more self-absorbed, especially at the high school level. It is cool to see Oikawa's backstory and the amount of work he put in to be as good as he is now, but it does make me wonder Oikawa's influence on Kageyama. I can see why Kageyama doesn't like Oikawa, even though they competed on the same team. And I think Oikawa and Kageyama could have both turned out much better off if Oikawa took the time to mentor Kageyama, and maybe they could have had a better relationship, trained together, and pushed each other more so that they can be better players together. But instead, Oikawa chose to have an individualistic approach and chose to keep Kageyama down when Kageyama could have been a great resource for him. It also made me feel sad for Kageyama, who's just a young boy excited to learn, lots of talent, and he probably didn't even know he was talented, and he was just looking for someone to teach him new things. And it's very obvious that he looked up to Oikawa, and that could be a very traumatic experience when the person you look up to doesn't acknowledge you or doesn't like you. So I'm curious how their relationship dynamic will unfold through subsequent seasons. I love the growing dynamic between Tsuki and Kageyama. Going back to the scene where Tsuki was saying, "You're just treating me like a commoner," and was pretty much being very aggressive with Kageyama, and instead of firing back with another aggressive, hurtful comment, Kageyama calmly said, "What do you mean by that?" And that allowed Tsuki to let his guard down a little bit and to calmly say what he's truly thinking, which is, don't force me into a situation, let me make my own decisions. And Kageyama said, okay, let's try that. You're welcome to disagree with your teammates, but it's always important to listen to your teammates and seriously consider any input that they have, because they might have a great idea that you're not aware of. I'm glad that Karasuno was able to make the last adjustment, but I'm curious how Oikawa is going to make his adaptation for the third set. And the tricky part about the third set is that it's only to 15 points, which means you have less time to adapt to each other, so you have to make those adaptations fast. So we'll see which team ends up on top. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. We'll see you guys in the next one.